Good morning, essays. We're getting ready to head to actual Mississippi to look at Mississippi College with Emma. But before we go, I wanted to just record a little, hopefully some encouragement to you and just a lesson on how once you get a set list together, one kind of next step that I do is work through the songs just to see how they flow together. And typically what I do is I'll kind of, as I'm working through a set list, I'll get these songs. I think these songs will work together. These are songs I want to do. And then I'll put them in an order, like I think it'll flow this way. But then one of my next steps is to just actually play through the beginning and the end of each song, and from the end to the beginning of the next song, just to feel how it flows. Because sometimes you may have the right song in the wrong place. Sometimes you may realize, well, even though the message of the songs may flow together, they may not quite work together musically. So sometimes you just got to replace the song altogether. And you can find that out just by a quick little skim through the beginning and the end of each song and going from the end to the beginning of the next song. And that helps you kind of just one more step in that flow. But I'm actually going to use Kellen's set that he sent. And what he did was he listed 5 songs. And so the 5 songs he chose was Look to the Sun, Beautiful, Christ Be All Around Me, King of Kings, and What Mercy Did for Me. And that's the order that he selected them. He put them in that order. I think starting off with Look to the Sun is very strong. It's a strong song of praise, and it kind of gets everybody in that attitude of praise and then not just for hype's sake with just the music of it, but the message of it really calls us to look to our great salvation. And when we think of our great salvation and what God has done for us, our only response is to look to the sun. So it's a great message with great energy in the music to help us, just kind of get praise, rising up within us. And some people, it'll instantly, they come in, the first note, they're there. But, sometimes people are coming in with a lot heavier load. Sometimes it'll be us that's coming in with a heavier load. And so sometimes a song like this is just, it takes a little working to break that off and to really get into a attitude of worship. So a couple of things you want to think through also is you've got how many breaks are there in the set. So you might, with 5 songs, you're typically not going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Typically, they're going to break up. And they'll either break up in the sense of you've got a worship set, and then you've got kind of a ministry time song. That's a very common way to do it. But sometimes you can have just an opener, like a praise song opener, and that just gets everybody kind of focused. And then you kind of get into the announcements and various things like that. It just kind of depends on what that service order for that specific fellowship, how they work through it. But that's something to consider when you're kind of plotting out your set list, because if you just have this one standalone praise song, will the next song be a good intro song? So it's almost like you can have 1, 2, 3 intros, and so you've got to think through that. It's good to think through that. But what we'll do right now is we'll just take this set list as a whole, just to kind of get you just to kind of show you my mindset when I'm working through a set list. And so let's just look at it as if we're going to play these 5 songs back to back to back. And again, Look to the Sun is a strong one. Then we go Beautiful, Christ Be All Around Me, King of Kings, and What Mercy Did for Me. And so what I'm going to do is, I will typically, with the first song, you don't really have to feel how it intros per se. So you just I typically will go to the end of the song and then and obviously I'm not playing through it full bore or anything like that. I'm just wanting to get the flow from one song to the next. So it's just like, oh, we look to the sun. Oh, how about I get it in the key? That would help. Oh, we look to the sun. Wow, that was terrible. Oh, we look to the sun. Does that feel better? I'm just kidding. Oh, we look to the sun. then I'll do an ending there. Typically we're going to end on C when it's in the key of C, and then you just kind of, and if you're in the same key, it's really good to try to keep your set list in the same key as much as possible. It doesn't always work that way, and it's not like you've got to be, it's not law. It just helps in the transition. So as we end on Look to the Sun on a C, we can kind of start with a C if Beautiful is in the C. I see your face in every sunrise. The color of the morning is inside your eyes. The world awakens in the light of the day. I look up to the sky and say, you're beautiful. And so then we'll move on to the end of the song. That flowed well. Real good transition. It's the song is slower per se, but the tempo doesn't really take that hard break from a fast praise song to a just a real super slow song. So you got to kind of take that into account. It's not the deciding factor by any way, shape, or form, but it is one of the determining factors. So then we go to the end. Your face. This is kind of like the ending. This is really kind of an ad-lib ending to this song, but it's always typically the ending of the song. When somebody knows it and singing it, this is how they'll end it. Your face is beautiful. Your grace is beautiful. Your face is beautiful. Your grace is beautiful. And so there again, we're ending on that C. And then we'll see how it transitions to the next song, Christ Be All Around Me. Here we go. So you see that to me that has a nice flow. As I rise, strength of God, go before, lift me up. As I wait, eyes of God, look upon, be my side. So that was the kind of the first. And so right here, we're not exactly sure how we might end this one, but this is a good spot. I mean, this is one of the endings we could do. So you just gotta go into that interlude. Christ be all around me, yeah. Christ be all around me, yeah. So I'm ending on that C again. So far, we're all in the key of C. All those three songs are in the key of C because of me. I put it in there. It doesn't mean that if we ever lead these songs, we have to do them in the key of C. Kind of depends on who's leading the song. Now, what we will want to do is we can't just go all across the board. So it's something you got to keep in mind with the keys that you do. But this next song, King of Kings, is in a different key. It's in the key of D. But the good thing with this one is this is an easy transition song because it has some of the same chords you'll be playing. So you can use those chords to make that transition to the key. So as we ended on the C for Christ Be All Around Me, this next song has a G in it. So we'll bump to the G then we'll just kind of feel our way to the verse. Here we go. You feel that? Now we're getting into the song. In the darkness we were waiting, without hope and without light. It won't necessarily play out like that exactly, but it gives you, again, it just gives you the feel. Can we do it? In the darkness we were waiting, without hope and without light, till from heaven you came running. There was mercy in your eyes to fulfill the law and prophets. To a virgin came the word, to the throne of endless glory, to a cradle in the dirt. So we've got that transition. Then we'll, here we go. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. Here's the tag. Praise forever to the King of Kings. So we've ended on the D on this one because it's in the key of D. But then this next song we go back into C. But the good thing is, obviously, key of C, we can go from a D to a C pretty easily without it being such a stark transition. I'll get the tune for this one. I was hopeless, I knew I was lost. Death and darkness were my only songs. So, having said all that, we're coming up on 15 minutes, so I don't want to make this too long. But what you do is, what you've seen is, it is doable. That set list is doable from a musical perspective. Again, it's not like we would use exactly those transitions. All you're doing is just feeling that change musically from one song to the other. And so that tells us that it's doable. Very good set list, very strong set list, honestly. It's one that, maybe we'll actually just work on as a set. But again, you have to also take into account when you're making a set, is it, 1 through 5, or are you going to have one song here, 3 songs here, 1 song at the end, that kind of thing. I'm pretty sure this set list breaks up pretty well in that arena regardless. So it definitely, What Mercy Did for Me is a great ministry time song. That is that's a good one. It's more uplifting than a lot of times, you feel like your ministry time is more somber, but it's a great one to end on because it really kind of lifts you up and really gets you focused on the mercy of God. So strong songs, strong set list. Good job, Kellen. And hopefully this was helpful to you. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Look forward to, hopefully we can get together Sunday and practice, but listen to the song list, work through that. As the Lord brings songs to your mind, don't hesitate to submit them, and let's just keep working on our worship, and see you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.